Lyndon Johnson lived here from age 5 until he went off to college, and then it was his home even after he was a senator, and we'll talk about that as we go to the home. But look here at this yard. They had chickens, they had a milk cow, they raised a big garden down that end. These live oaks wouldn't have been here. They did have orchard. They raised trees that you could get fruit from, or you could get something from to eat. Because they had here, when they moved from out on the farm, they came here. There was a one-room school. His mother was college educated. She wanted to be in the big city. Johnson City had 300 people. No electricity, but 300 people. And they had a 4-room school, which was a big step up for her. But just imagine this farm. They bought this 1 3/4 acres. Let's just say for the sake of things, 2 acres. So they bought the 2 acres. The house was built, it was here. It was built in 1901. They bought it for $2,925, which back then, that was quite a bit of money. But they lived here, and he grew up here. And you'll see, as we talk about the things that he learned here. His mother was college educated. Her father was college educated. She taught debate. She taught all kinds of things. Manners, proper living. She taught that even to the school here. She was not a school teacher. His father, though, was a politician who had he'd been to the state legislature in Austin as a legislator for 2 terms or 4 years. It wasn't the biggest they had a lot of people here. And this house would have been a very good house and a very nice house to have here in this town. This house has 2 porches on this side, it has 2 porches on the other side. Now, this porch over here, you notice out front, we'll walk up to it. That's the porch where his mother came here. They went to the school, but she also tutored other people's children. And she tutored kids in debate. She tutored kids in all of the things that could get us. Eventually, she had the debate team at the school, and she would teach debate at the school. She also taught a very important skill that Lyndon obtained here, and that was the ability to read people. And we'll talk more when we get inside. She's here educating him and other kids during the day on how to debate, how to read people. And then his father was a politician. Now, the house, there was no smoking, no drinking, and there was no cursing in the house. So, as you can imagine, a politician in the 1920s here, there was a lot of cigar smoking, there was a lot of drinking, and there was a lot of cursing. His father would sit here with other people from the town who would come over here, and they would sit out here and they would talk politics, they would talk what was happening in the state, they would talk what's happening in the United States. And there was drinking and there was cursing. Well, guess whose bedroom was right there? That first Lyndon. Lyndon's bedroom. So who do you think heard all this politics? This morning he heard over there about how to read people, how to understand people, how to reach consensus, how to debate people. Of an evening, he came over here, he went to bed, he heard political views, he heard different opinions, he heard what was happening in the world. So here, and I like to describe it as this, we don't have the tale of 2 cities, we have the tale of 2 porches. Because here's a guy that was molded at an early age to become master of the Senate, someone who knows the system, someone who knows how to reach consensus. Isn't that a great thing to be able to do that? Here's a guy that passed 1,000 bills of legislation while in office in 5 years. Only one president beat him. You guess who that was? He was in there 12 years. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yes, he actually, but he did remarkable things in 5 years. Let's go up here and have this. He, of course, very conducive to teaching. Because just imagine, here they're having a debate. They're teaching how to be a speaker, how to be an orator, and here's all this. And his mother had this all built so that she could tutor the kids in school, okay, and after school. Now, who in 1937 stood right here and announced that he was going to run for Senate? Same old boy that sat out there and listened to his mother teach. Yes, he stood here and announced that he was running for the Senate. So, what you're entering here now was his father's office. Now, his father had an 8th grade education, and he wasn't a lawyer. He wasn't a lawyer, but he had a certificate where he could advise people. He could establish law. Not establish law, but read the law. And to read the law back then was, if you came to me with a problem, then I could answer it for you. I wasn't your attorney, but I could tell you what the law said about your problem. He did that here. He had a set of law books, and he also cut hair, but he also sold real estate, and he also was in the state legislature, as a state legislator. Okay? Now, and here is the bedroom where the 3 girls lived. They stayed there, and there's 3 sisters. He actually shared this house with 4 siblings. But all 5 of the Johnson kids were college educated. They seen to that. His mother and his father seen to that. Yes. Dining room table. That's where they did their homework. They would do their homework here. And homework was very important to the family. Now, think about this though. You've done the homework. It's 1920, 25. So what did you do for entertainment? They had a radio. Look back here. And you think, wait a minute. They had a radio. It's right over here. They had no electricity. But they had a radio. This is actually a shortwave radio. And it runs off battery power. So they would go out to the old Model T. They would take the battery out of the Model T, carry it in, wire it up to the radio, tune in to Austin, change and tune to San Antonio, or you could also get what's called a skip, where the messages actually bounce a little bit, and you could maybe pick up Washington, D.C. You could pick up many different places. So they would listen to political debates, and then when the radio was done, they would listen to the news, shut the radio off, take the battery back out, put it in the car. Then Mrs. Johnson might say, you take the view of this point, and you take the view of this point. And they would debate this back and forth and debate the points that were there in this news. And that's a very good way to learn how to debate either side. And they might even have to switch sides and debate that direction. And that kind of teaches you that, see things differently, take a different point of view, understand the opposing point of view, those kind of things. And that was important to them. He grew up learning the skills that it took for him to become a politician, and he applied those skills all through his whole life. So when you're young, you're very impressionable. And the skills that you learn when you're young will help you as you grow older. Yeah. We don't often recognize it, but here's a case where he grew up with these skills of politics, he grew up with the skills of debating, and he grew up with the skills of compromise. And that's why he was able to pass all the laws that he did and all the legislation. And how many national parks do you think? He created a lot of national parks. Do you know he created 47 national parks? Yes, yeah. You know, education bills, like First Start, and many vocational school, and just going through them. He did over 60 education bills.